It stores the emotions and it remembers. And it's more sensitive. What it's going to do is it recognizes a threat before your conscious brain recognizes that threat. And because it's now more sensitive, because we have triggered it so much, that it may test your amygdala, and your mind starts going. Again, your mind narrows. Because what do you see? Do you see, oh, you know what, lots of people have overcome this. I don't have to have this. This might be something else. You don't see the space. You see, my grandmother died from this. Oh my God, my friend had this. You see the world very small and very narrow. Okay? So sometimes, the doctors help to trigger this as well. So again, the self-diagnosis is not the problem. The wanting an instant fix, the not wanting to look at the underlying cause of it. Your body speaks to you all day long. So if you're getting headaches, and you're getting headaches on a regular basis, your body's telling you something. Take a look at the root cause. Start to look at, okay, what was going on around the headache? What did I eat? What was I doing? What was I thinking, most importantly? What were my thoughts leading up to that headache? Was I stressed? Was I worried? Was I depressed? Was I sad? Look at what is going on. Because if you're continuously, and you're getting headaches all the time, and then now you're taking the Motrin or the Tylenol, or I say coffee a lot because I used to take the Excedrin for migraines, which might not be on the market anymore, but it's all caffeine. It is all caffeine. So I know people that may take Motrin and then wash it back with coffee. It's the same premise behind the extra strength or the Excedrin for migraine. So a lot of the caffeine. So again, a Band-Aid. But what also is happening is that your body is reacting to that. So now your liver is on overdrive because you're putting all these chemicals and this coffee. Coffee is a diuretic. You're putting all of this, caffeine is, stimulates all sorts of things going on in your body. And your liver is now on overdrive. And your liver can't function correctly and properly because the dopamine is not flowing, because the cortisol is flowing, because you are in fight or flight. You are causing a lot of this, bringing it on yourself, and you don't even realize it. You don't even realize what you're doing. You're fighting against yourself this entire time. And, so thankful for the way the body works. It still works. It doesn't get mad at you. It doesn't say, I'm not speaking to you anymore, and I'm not going to. Our body still works with what it got. It works, and it works, and it works. And it sends us signals. It continues to send us signals. So, all right. So you found yourself in this state. You're in this fight or flight. You're, on your way to an event, you and your partner, and you get into those arguments. You ever been? No one's ever been there. I know that. Yeah, no, that never happens. And you get there and you're like smiling. Do I have to smile, or do we just not even go to this, or what kind of things happen? I don't even want to look at them when I get there. Those kinds of things. So you find yourself there. What do you do? How do you come out of that? The first thing that you do is pause, recognize it. Okay, this is what's going on. What's happening in my body? What are my thoughts? What are my emotions? Emotions are a manifestation of what you're thinking. So if you're feeling sad, you're thinking sad thoughts. If you're feeling angry, you're thinking angry thoughts. So emotions are a manifestation of what your thoughts are. Wayne Dyer does a wonderful talk. He's got a great book, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your World. Okay? In this book, the foreword is by a woman called, her name is Chris Carr. Chris Carr was diagnosed with cancer, and she's thriving. She's living in a wonderful world right now, where she decided, nope, it's not taking me like that, and these are the things that I'm going to do. And it starts with our thoughts. And she talks about that too. She says, change your thoughts, change your behaviors, change your biochemistry. Okay? So it's all along the same lines. Whatever you're feeling in your body begins with your thoughts. When we teach Pilates, when we read about Joseph Pilates and things like that, Pilates used to be called controlology, and I know I've talked about that several times in here, because he felt that if you can control this powerhouse, what he calls the powerhouse, so from your thighs to your shoulders, your upper back, your chest, your abdominals, your hip, all this area in here, your powerhouse. If you can control this, you can control your limbs, you can control everything else around you. And the way that you control this is your mind. So you have to focus on your breathing. And that is how you focus on that is how you control your thoughts. So the number one thing is to pause, recognize what's going on. The second thing would be, what do you guys think?
Breathe.
Excellent. Love my teacher. The second thing is to breathe. What do we do in yoga? What's the most important thing that we do in yoga?
Breathe.
What's the most important thing we do in Pilates?
Breathe.
What's the most important thing we do each and every day? Each and every moment of every day, the most important thing that you can do is breathe. Okay? The type of breath that you do makes a huge, huge difference. You know, and I talk about when you get angry. You see the cartoon characters when they get angry and the steam comes out of their ears and their top of their heads blow off. You know, I'm going to date myself, but Tom and Jerry, oh my gosh, used to do all the time. I'm like, catch that little mouse. You know, but that used to happen on Tom and Jerry all the time. Where you see, you know, it's like, and their face turns red because the blood is flowing. I mean, these are, you know, it's funny as a cartoon character, but that is exactly what is happening in our bodies. Have you ever felt angry and you just feel like you feel your face, your head heat up?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. If you were a cartoon character at that time, your top of your head would blow off. And the steam would come out of your ears. You are hot. You know? You ever been in an argument with someone and you start to take your jacket off? Because I'm sweating, I am just angry, and you know, it steams you up. So what do you think that you would need to do? What type of breath do you think you would need to do? Something that would cool you down. Yeah, exactly. You know, when you are sad or depressed, you know, you tend not to breathe. You tend to hold your breath. You don't even really know it. You're sitting there, after a while, you're like, you know, so that's holding your breath. You have to take a big inhale and exhale because you've probably been holding it for long periods of time. Okay, so the breath that you need to take there is to actually breathe. Actually take big breaths. Tony Robbins studies something. The work that he does is based on something called NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. And what he says is change your state and change how you feel, change your behaviors and your actions. If you're sad and depressed, your shoulders are usually hunched, your head is down, things like that. Lift your head, pull your shoulders back, change your state. Notice how you are when you're happy. When you're happy, you're not here, yeah, I'm happy. That's not where you are. You're like, hey, you're at the party, you're at the barbecue, you're doing your thing, you're driving down the street, no one can tell you, you know, you look great, you know, things like that. When are you most empowered? When you feel the best, when you've got your outfit on, or you just won, you know, this big, you know, deal, or whatever. That's where, look and notice how you are being at that time. And apply that to when you are not feeling that empowered. You have to do a presentation. You have to have a tough conversation with your boss, your partner, your kids. You know, get that other state, change your state. But you won't do that unless you can recognize what's going on, take a pause, and take a breath. Okay? Take a breath, take 2 or 3 breaths. I suggest that you check in with yourself all day long. Every now and then when you can remember, whenever you remember, how am I breathing? What am I thinking? 2 great thoughts to ask yourself. Am I breathing? What am I thinking? You know, so checking into yourself. Give yourself a room to pull back from the situation. Have you ever responded or reacted to a situation and then later on said, ooh, I could have done that a little better. I could have responded a little differently to that. Yes, exactly. I know none of you guys do that. You know how many times I have to go back to my kids and say, well, you know, I might have overreacted. You know, moms make mistakes too, and I'm sorry, and, you know, things like that. So there's many times when we just needed that pause. So before we react, and it won't always happen like that, and it won't always be the first time, and yes,